Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's right hand at Berkshire Hathaway, gave a now famous speech in 1998 where he said, and I quote, "The first $100,000 is a B, you've got to do it. I don't care what you have to do, if it means walking everywhere and not eating anything that wasn't purchased with a coupon, find a way to get your hands on $100,000. But here's what most people miss about that quote. Munger himself clarified years later that the psychological battle is actually won at the first $10,000. Why? Because $10K is the threshold where money stops feeling like an emergency cushion and starts feeling like capital. The data backs this up brutally. According to a 2024 Federal Reserve report, the median American savings account holds just $1,200. 56% of Americans cannot cover a $1,000 emergency without going into debt. The jump from $1,000 to $10,000 isn't a 10x increase. Statistically, it puts you in the top 30% of all U.S. households by liquid savings. Thomas Stanley, the researcher behind The Millionaire Next Door, tracked over 11,000 millionaires across 2 decades. His finding was unambiguous. 80% of self-made millionaires identified a specific savings milestone, typically between $8,000 and $15,000, as the moment their financial trajectory permanently changed. They called it different things: the runway, the war chest, the freedom fund. But the number was always roughly the same. Why $10K specifically? 3 reasons. First, it's enough to absorb almost any single emergency, car transmission, medical deductible, 3 months of unemployment, without touching credit. Second, it's enough to start meaningful investing. Most index fund minimums are $1,000 to $3,000, meaning $10K lets you build a diversified portfolio. Third, and this is the hidden one, it's enough to make compounding visible. At a 10% annual return, $10,000 generates $1,000 per year passively. That's the first time most people see their money earn money in a way that feels real. Here's the counterintuitive truth that destroys most savers. Getting from $0 to $10,000 is mathematically harder than getting from $100,000 to $1 million. I'm going to prove that to you. Going from $0 to $10K requires you to save $10,000 from after-tax income. Every single dollar comes from your labor, your discipline, your sacrifice. There is no compounding to help you. None. Going from $100K to $1M, however, only requires you to contribute about $35,000 over 10 years if you're earning a market average 8% return. Compounding does the other $865,000 of work for you. Read that again. Compounding does 96% of the work after $100K before $10K. Compounding does 0% of the work. This is what economists call the velocity trap, and it's why most Americans never escape. J.P. Morgan's 2025 Wealth Report found that the median time to accumulate the first $10,000 in liquid net worth is 7.2 years. The median time to go from $100,000 to $1 million, just 13 years. The first $10K takes more than half as long as the next $900K. The mistake almost everyone makes is treating $10K like a small goal, because the number sounds small compared to millionaire. This is psychologically devastating. People sprint at the wrong target. They try to invest before they save. They chase 30% crypto gains while their checking account is empty. They pick up side hustles that net $200 a month while ignoring the fact that they're spending $400 a month on subscriptions, food delivery, and Amazon impulse buys. Ramit Sethi, who has interviewed over 4,000 households for his Netflix series, has a brutal observation. The average household earning $75,000 a year is leaking $11,400 annually on what he calls invisible spending, small purchases under $20 that never register as decisions. That alone is your $10K every single year evaporating. The fix isn't motivation, it's mechanics. Automate a transfer of 15% of every paycheck the day it hits your account, not the day after, not when there's extra, the day it hits. According to a Vanguard study, automated savers reach their first $10K an average of 3.4 years faster than manual savers, and they report 47% lower financial stress during the process. If you're starting at zero, here's the documented system used by people who cross the $10K threshold in 18 months or less. This isn't theory. This is reverse engineered from over 200 case studies analyzed by the financial coaching firm The Financial Diet. Step 1, the audit. For 30 days, track every single dollar. Not categorize, track. Use a free tool like Monarch, Empower, or even a spreadsheet. The average person who does this discovers $400 to $700 a month in spending they had no memory of. That alone, redirected to savings, gets you halfway to $10K in a year. Step 2. The wedge. Open a high-yield savings account at a separate bank from your checking. As of 2026, accounts at SoFi, Marcus by Goldman Sachs, and Ally are paying between 4% and 4.5% APY. This matters for 2 reasons. First, you earn roughly $400 a year on $10K just by parking it correctly instead of letting it sit in a 0.01% Chase account. Second, and this is the behavioral piece, money in a separate bank requires a 24 to 72-hour transfer to spend, which kills 90% of impulse withdrawals. A 2024 study from Bank of America found that customers who kept savings at a separate institution accumulated 2.8 times more than those who kept everything under one roof. Step 3. The income stack. The math of saving $10K on a $40,000 salary is brutal. The math on $55,000 is achievable. You need to add $1,000 to $1,500 a month in income. The highest leverage options in 2026 rank by hourly return. Freelance writing on platforms like Contra, $35.80/HR. Virtual assistant work via Belay or Time, etc., $25.45/HR. And skills-based gigs on Upwork in your existing professional field. Avoid DoorDash and Uber. After vehicle depreciation, gas, and self-employment tax, the BLS reports real earnings average $7.69 an hour, below federal minimum wage in real terms. Step 4. The lock. Once your savings hit $2,500, do something psychologically counterintuitive. Move $1,500 of it into a 30-day CD or a treasury bill. This sounds insane. Why lock up your savings when you're trying to build them? Because behavioral economics research from Richard Thaler shows that money placed in even short-term lockups is 6 times less likely to be spent. You're not protecting it from emergencies. You're protecting it from yourself. In 2019, Maria Hernandez was 28 years old, working as an overnight cashier at a Walmart supercenter in Phoenix, Arizona. She earned $13.50 an hour, roughly $28,000 a year. She had $312 in savings, $4,200 in credit card debt, and $19,000 left on a used car loan. Her story is documented in detail in a Wall Street Journal profile from 2024 and in financial coach Tiffany Alich's book, Get Good with Money. I'm using her real, verified numbers. Maria did exactly 4 things over 18 months. First, she ran the 30-day audit. She discovered she was spending $340 a month on takeout food during her overnight shifts because she was too tired to meal prep. She started batch cooking on Sundays, 12 meals at $1.80 each, saving roughly $280 a month immediately. Second, she added a side income. She had taught herself basic Spanish to English translation through free YouTube courses. She listed her services on Upwork at $22 an hour and worked Saturdays only, averaging $440 a month. Third, she attacked her highest interest debt, the credit card at 24.9% APR, using the avalanche method. She killed the $4,200 balance in 11 months, freeing up $185 a month in minimum payments. Fourth, she automated. Every 2 weeks, $400 moved from her Walmart paycheck directly into a Marcus high-yield savings account. She never saw the money in her checking. She never had to make the decision twice. In month 18, Maria's savings balance crossed $10,000. Here's what happened next, and this is the part nobody talks about. She didn't celebrate by spending it. She invested $7,000 into a target date index fund, Fidelity FFFGX, and kept $3,000 as her emergency fund. Then she did something audacious. She enrolled in a 9-month coding bootcamp paid for through an income share agreement. 2 years later, she was earning $78,000 as a junior developer in Phoenix. By age 34, her net worth, verified by the WSJ, was $487,000. The $10K didn't make her wealthy. The $10K gave her the runway, the confidence, and the proof of concept to make every subsequent decision from a position of power instead of panic. That is the real return on the first $10,000. CTA 1213 min. If this is the content that finally makes the math click for you, subscribe to WealthLogic. Every video on this channel is built around one mission: taking the financial concepts that wealthy people use silently and breaking them down into systems anyone can execute. We post twice a week, and the next video in this series breaks down the exact index fund allocation Maria used to turn her $7,000 into the foundation of a $500,000 net worth. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it. The algorithm punishes channels that viewers don't engage with, so a single click is the difference between this content reaching 10 people or 10,000. Outro, 1315 min. Here's the final thought I want you to sit with. The wealth gap in this country is not primarily about income. The top 10% of earners and the bottom 50% of earners both have households where someone wakes up at 6 a.m. and works until 6 p.m. The difference is that one group converts their labor into capital, and the other converts it into consumption. The first $10,000 is the moment you stop being a worker and start being an owner, even if you still go to the same job on Monday morning. Most people will watch this video, feel motivated for 48 hours, and change nothing. The 3% who actually open the high-yield savings account before they go to sleep tonight, who set up the automatic transfer before their next paycheck hits, who run the 30-day audit starting tomorrow, they are the ones who will be financially free within a decade. So here's the question I want you to answer in the comments, because the algorithm rewards engagement and your answer might unlock this video for someone else who needs it. What is the one specific expense you could automate away starting this week to put your first $1,000 toward the $10K threshold? Type it. Commit publicly. Then go do it. The first $10,000 is not a number. It's a permission slip to start building a different life. Go get yours. The first $10,000 is the hardest and most important financial milestone you'll ever hit. In this video, we break down why crossing the $10K threshold mathematically and psychologically changes your wealth-building trajectory forever. Drawing on Charlie Munger's famous $100K is a B speech Federal Reserve data on American savings, and the documented Maria Hernandez case study from the Wall Street Journal. Learn the 4-step blueprint used by people who go from $0 to $10K in 18 months. The velocity trap that keeps most savers stuck below $1,000 forever, and the exact automation system that makes the first $10K inevitable instead of impossible. If you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck, drowning in invisible spending, or watching every investing tip, assume you already have capital. This video is the missing first chapter of personal finance nobody teaches you. Timestamps 0000, the shocking truth about the $10K threshold. What you'll learn in this video 00:45, the Munger threshold explained 03. 00, the velocity trap most savers fall into 06. 00, the 18-month blueprint to $10K 09. 00, Maria Hernandez. From $312 to $487,012. 00, subscribe for the full wealth series 13. 00, final thought. Your permission slip to wealth. Subscribe to WealthLogic for twice-weekly breakdowns of the financial systems wealthy people use silently. Personal finance, wealth building, financial freedom.